War Eagle, War Rapport family, I'm your host, C-Dub, and we have a special treat for you guys tonight. Of course, we're going to be talking about what all of Auburn Nation has been talking about lately. A certain player down at UCF thinks they can definitely beat Auburn for sure. That, and also Auburn actually gets a new recruit in, making it the 9th commitment of this recruiting class. So we have a lot to discuss tonight. So guys, get ready, get your weight up, because tonight we enter the war room.
You are now listening to the War Report. Wednesday night War Room. Brought to you by Auburn Football.com. Ike Jones. B. Will. C. Doe. Mike G. Let's go!
War Eagle, everyone. Happy hump day. Happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing well. It's just the three of us tonight, guys. B. Will is off tonight, but we got you guys. Make sure you come on in, and welcome again to the Wednesday Night War Room, brought to you by our good friends at auburnsports.com. Please be sure to check them out, guys, for the latest in recruiting and the latest news surrounding Auburn athletics. Be sure to smash that like button. Be sure to drop a War Eagle in the comment section for the Auburn family. And please help us out, guys, and do your part. If you're on social media, share this video. Add us on social media. Please use hashtag Get Your Weight Up. Let people know we're out here dropping great content for you guys. That helps us out a ton. And we got some announcements coming up, some things you want to pay good attention to. Mike G, let them know.
Hey, listen, become an insider. I wrote that song for you guys just tonight. We are doing some great things at the War Report. You want to be an insider to take advantage of all the things we have going on. Now, that being said, we have a lot of segments that will be insider only. So our game day experience will be insider only. We're going to limit comments to channel members to try to keep the trolls out of our comment section on game day. But we will be with you guys pregame, halftime, and postgame, as well as the regular Sunday tailgate, the Monday film review, and we're coming at you guys with For the Record twice and Betting with B. Will, all insider content. Sign up so that you can get access to all that we're doing there. We're also giving away something to our insiders as well as our regular channel members. We are giving away 2 tickets to the Akron game. We did a number of call to action, so if you missed that, I apologize. Now the only way to get into this raffle is to sign up. Supporters get 2 entries. Insiders get 3 entries. We're going to draw, and on the 18th, we're going to give 2 tickets away to 1 lucky listener. So become an insider, and you can get 3 entries into this raffle. I promise this won't be the only time we give away tickets to a game. So if you've never been to an Auburn game, it would be our pleasure to send you courtesy of the War Report. So sign up as an insider so you can get access to that. Other than that, you guys know the deal. We are partnered with the Lee County Humane Society to save all the puppies. This is a stated goal of my life. Save all the puppies, pet all the puppies, just rescue all the puppies. They're doing great work over there at the Lee County Humane Society. It costs them $19 a day to take care of animals in their care that stay on average 30 to 45 days. So every dollar that you guys donate to our GoFundMe helps us help them in their mission to save animals and help other people find the joy that we have in our lives because of our rescues. You can find the link to this in the About section of our YouTube channel. Also, in that About section, you can find a link to our merch store. Lots of fly gear there for you guys. Get your weight up. Watch the film WTF, War Reports, all there. You definitely want to get this. It's hot off the press. And then tonight, we are giving away a mug. Now, this mug's a little bit different. It changes color as you pour sunshine into it. So If you wake up in the morning at 6 a.m. and you are ready to pump some sunshine, this cup will tell you that your sunshine is legit. We're giving this away to somebody tonight. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments to enter for this. Hashtag get your weight up. Also, get your spelling up, because if you don't spell it right, it won't count. Ike has got that pulled up right now. So we are extremely excited to give this mug away to one lucky listener. This will be the first one. This will be the first one anybody will ever have of this from us. So we are excited about that. Other than that, listen, we got a building report coming up on Monday. I don't have a graphic just yet, but Josh Pate is joining us on Monday to talk about where we're at with the Auburn program headed into fall camp. Now, if you've been watching our channel for a while, you know that these conversations with Josh Pate are amazing. He has been very gracious to give us a little bit of his time to talk about all things football. We talked a little SEC expansion as well in there. You don't want to miss this. So Building Rapport is coming back to you guys on Monday at its normal time, 11 a.m., 10 a.m. Central. Building Rapport, Josh Pate from the Late Kick Cut. Don't miss it.
Now, I also want to take time. Shout out to all of you guys watching live with us, especially those of you in the comment section. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. We do have a comment or a question from Derek Freeman asking who's starting on the offensive line. So what we're doing in the month of August, you definitely want to tune into our weekend tailgate on Sundays, because we're actually doing position breakdowns. We actually started this past Sunday talking about running backs and special teams. So tune in. We're not going to tell you who we're talking about this upcoming week, but definitely tune in, because we're covering different position groups and talking about who we think will actually start, who will be contributors for Auburn this upcoming season. So that's where we'll have those conversations. That's where we'll answer these types of questions. So definitely tune in for that. You do not want to miss that. We also want to shout out, because I've been way up in the comments. A lot of y'all have been commenting a lot. We got a new member.
Hey, Justin Wilborn.
Rapport family, you know what to do. Welcome, Justin, to the community. We appreciate you, sir, for becoming part of the Rapport family.
Justin, guys, you just got 3 entries into the ticket giveaway.
There you go.
So, good luck. I hope, I wish we could give away tickets to everybody, but unfortunately, we can only give it away to one of you guys, and you will pick the most important person to you in your life and take them, and let everybody else know that they're secondary, because that's the person that you took to the first game of the Brian Harsin era with you. It's going to be amazing. So congrats, Justin, on getting 3 entries into the raffle.
Guys, how are y'all doing, man? Y'all doing good?
I'm here for Ike.
I'm here for Ike too, man. We've been holding Ike back all season, but pertaining to a particular individual. Now, before we get into that, though, let's start off with some pleasantries. All right, let's not get into the smoke just yet. A big congrats to Bo Nix for landing his NIL deal with Bojangles.
Yeah,
cleverly done. And he also got engaged over the weekend. So congrats to that fella. We can definitely show Bo some love when he's making moves like that. So congrats to that fine gentleman for that. Now, let's get to the foolery, guys. Let's just get straight into it. We've been getting tagged for the past 24 hours on social media about this. There's no way we were going to get around this. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Big Kat Bryant and some comments he made. So recently, Mike Bianchi, I think I'm saying it right, of the Orlando Sentinel, was interviewing him and basically asked, with him being in the SEC, having played in the SEC, how does he feel, or how does he think that UCF, Central Florida, would fare in the SEC? How would they match up? To which he responds, right now, we'd beat somebody like Auburn for sure. He continues to go on and doubles back down on it, then proceeds to talk about Ole Miss as well.
Bruh.
Okay. Stutters a little bit more, struggles through his answer. That's pretty much the nucleus of it. will beat Auburn. Even though it wasn't a gotcha question, as Mike G originally thought. Nope. He just went out there and just took a shot. Just to give you guys background on Marcavius Bryant. If you remember, he committed to Auburn back in 2017 and held some impressive offers at the time. Chose Auburn over the likes of Georgia, LSU, and a few other schools. Alabama, I believe, was a school he had an offer from. In 2020, he had a total of 17 total tackles, 10 solo, 3 sacks, 1 interception, which actually earned him a second-team All-SEC pick. For his career, he holds a total of 56 total tackles, 30 solo, 10 sacks, and 2 interceptions. Back in January 10th, he announced that he will utilize the NCAA's free year of eligibility, but will be entering the transfer portal, by which he committed to Tennessee 6 days later. But after the shakeup that occurred at Tennessee, he ended up announcing that he was transferring to UCF on March the 12th. We hadn't heard much from Big Kat until a couple of days ago or a day ago. So that's where we are. There's a lot I could say about this, but before we get into it, I want to shout out Zach Blackerby for having us to be guest on his podcast, Locked on Auburn. Friend of the show. We're definitely friends of his. You guys definitely want to check out the latest episode that he dropped, because it features yours truly as part of what he has dubbed War Rapport Wednesdays. Mike G and I had an opportunity to give our thoughts. So we've kind of talked about it. So I don't want to be the person to go first. Ike, talking to Ike behind the scenes, Ike has a lot of thoughts about this. So let's not waste time. Ike, talk to the people.
Let me key him up. First of all, if you just started watching our show, this man has had a very consistent position on Big Kat. Yes. So if you watch any of our stuff from the fall, he has had his feelings about this particular player and has been consistent, which is why this is a very special night in War Rapport history. So I just want to make sure everybody understands Ike has been everything you're about to hear, he would have said pre-January. I'm just saying. Okay.
He was actually saying it in January, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, all good. Anyway.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
I mean, listen, Big Kat, my issue, sir, is that in the 4 years that you graced the Plains, you were pro-Auburn, big family, all that kind of stuff. And you took an unnecessary opportunity to take a jab at your former team. The question was just about whether or not, if he had answered the question, you know what, I think that this team is super talented. Yes, they could compete in the SEC. I'd have no issues with that. I think it's cap, but hey, it is what it is. You feel like your team can compete in the SEC? That's what's up. Cool. To go the additional step and say they definitely beat a team like, I don't know, Auburn. Like that's the only team that you could pull out of the hat from the SEC that they could possibly compete against is Auburn. That's where I just have to draw like Vanderbilt doesn't exist. Like South Carolina doesn't exist. Like Arkansas. Listen, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, and South Carolina have less wins combined in his entire time while he was at Auburn than I believe Auburn had last year. They just don't win SEC. Like, how is Auburn the name that comes out of your mouth?
And they don't want smoke with Ole Miss.
Right. And of all the people to make that comment, it's you. Mr. Can't seal the edge. Mr. Whiff on every sack. Big Kat spent 4 years at Auburn and has a combined 30 tackles. 30. 30.
That's correct.
In 4 years.
Tell him how many he missed.
He's missed. Was it number 50?
He missed 20 tackles.
20, excuse me. So he has 50 attempts at tackling someone, and he missed almost half of those. But that's the guy who went to Tennessee, couldn't stay there long enough, I guess, after the program fizzled out. Tried to go to Oklahoma. That didn't happen. Landed at UCF. But this is the guy that chose to say something about Auburn. Same guy who, again, the total number of tackles you had for 4 years, I believe it was Colby Wooden who came in late last season, or was it Chandler Wooten? Which one of those came in late last season? Colby Wooden had almost 30 tackles in like 6 games last year, playing the exact same position that you had. In 4 years, he equaled your output in 6 games last season. This is the guy, admittedly, he was hurt, that Stetson Bennett made look like a freshman or a high school player. Stetson Bennett shook him out his shoes.
Right out of him.
This is the guy that supposedly plays for a team that could beat Auburn today. Based on what, sir? Criteria are you making that statement? Now, we can say what we want to about Bo Nix. Bo Nix will probably put you in the hurt locker.
Facts.
You can't tackle Stetson Bennett. Bo Nix will make you look silly.
Facts.
Right.
Facts.
Let's be clear on that. You haven't. I'm surprised that your hair does not look like Kevin Durant because you don't know what an edge is.
Oh man, roast him.
Yeah,
Get him.
yeah,
Get him.
that guy, right? That guy. Like I don't know how you are able to drive on cliffs and not just tumble over because you don't know what an edge is. Like, I don't know who gave you the room to be able to say anything about anybody's ability to beat anybody at anything, except maybe like lifting weights. You do that really well. Mr. 4-star with 30 tackles in 4 years. You.
4
Okay.
years. 4 years.
Okay. That's not even 10 tackles per year, sir.
No, it's not. That's less than 10 tackles per year. That's
It's
good
not,
math.
that's not 10 tackles per year. Per year on the defensive line where they're running right at you a lot. And you said your stated goal was 15 sacks this season.
Right.
You have not had that single output in a year on average of total tackles, but you're going to get 15 sacks this season, apparently, because the competition's so great where UCF plays that you will more than triple your output for your entire career in once. Okay. All right, cool. Make that make sense to me and then come back and have a statement about how your team could beat Auburn based upon the output of a bowl game, which you were on the team that year, registered no tackles the entirety of that game. So, yeah, tell me again how your team is equipped to do that. All right, cool. Listen, I've been so kind to be. I have not said anything mean about this young man. And he's earned a lot of. As a matter of fact, I took up for him early in the season and talked about how his senior year was going to be a breakout season for him, and he was going to be a big guy when he came back from his injury. And somehow you have mustered the audacity. You found it somewhere. I don't know where you put it. And you were hiding it all this time, but you found it somewhere and decided to let it spew from your mouth in this interview about UCF's chances to beat Auburn. Okay. If you feel like that, sure, sir. Have all the confidence you want to in your team. Are you going to contribute to that? How many tackles would you have in that game, sir? Tank Bigsby would be the guy you'd be responsible for keeping off the edge. I'm taking Tank 10 times out of 10. Sean Shivers probably would run over Big Kat.
Yeah. That's right. We give him the Iron Bowl treatment from Sean.
So I'm done. I'm not going to say anything else about him. I've spent way too much time talking about him already.
You sure?
But, it is what it is, sir. Wish you the best of luck. 15 sacks. I hope you get it. I don't know how you do, but I hope you do. But hey, wrap up when you go tackle somebody. Don't just dive at them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when he said he was going to get 15 sacks, I was wondering if he was talking about like his Madden career and like career mode on Madden, like maybe he was going to create his player.
I thought maybe he was going to work at a grocery store somewhere, and he meant that he was going to actually be bagging groceries and get
sacks of potatoes. Like,
I'm gonna get 15 sacks when you checking out in the self checkout at Walmart.
Listen. So I want to go a different direction with my roast and just talk about culture for a second.
I'm not even roasting him. I'm just asking questions.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a roast. You roasted him.
Yeah, you got him.
Oh,
you got him.
Come on, bro.
Yeah. I think I heard a Mortal Kombat guy saying finish him.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, he gave him the Sub-Zero treatment just now. But listen, so I could not be happier that we made a change at coach after hearing this man just go do that. Because how many sound bites like that have you heard come out of the Auburn camp in 6 months since Brian Harsin has taken over as coach?
The closest thing you're going to get is the statement from Tony Fair about taking off the head of the elephant. That's the closest thing that you would
which was a tweet.
Yeah, right. Bose, we're not scared of Bama, but he was asked a specific question and he answered it. Now, I didn't really feel like that was a soundbite. I thought he answered well. I think it projects confidence to just say we're not scared of them. I know you guys want us to be scared of them,
right?
But we're not scared of them. Fine with that. This, like when I first heard it, you guys started when I got tagged, I just thought, he fell for a gotcha question by a reporter because it seemed like an obvious gotcha question. And then I went back and I watched the interview, and after I watched it, I was like, wow, like. Literally, he could have just said, yes, we feel like we can compete with any team in the country, not just the SEC. There's so many different ways he could have went with that. Right. But he was clearly he was in his feelings and just said we could definitely beat a team like Auburn. Now, let's talk about what a team like Auburn is. Well, it's not the team you left, sir. Certainly, and especially not on defense. Because the team that you're talking about returns the top tackler in the country in Jacoby McClain. And his average tackles per game are your average tackles per year. So that we're clear.
Right.
And Owen Papo is the second leading returning tackler in the SEC. So that's the team you're going to beat. Now, let's dig a little deeper. You now have the coach responsible for that team that you think you can beat. Because what you remember is not what's here anymore. All that softness, all that extra 3-ply Charmin softness that was in our team left with you, sir. It's not the same team. Work, hard work. That's what they've been talking about. Ask these guys about the Marine-like training they went through. How excited they are just about the difference in strength and conditioning. That's not the I get why you think you could beat Auburn because you remember the team you left.
Right.
Not the soldiers we got now. Right? And I pray and hope to God for you that you don't have to play this new team. Right? Because the offense that you would be going up against is not the offense you left. This isn't the Bo Nix you left. This isn't the O-line you left. And it will be the Tank Bigsby times 10 that you left. This isn't the same play calling. Like, what an asinine thing to do, right? And what a lack of discipline. Come on, man. The season hasn't even started. And you talking about your mouth writing checks that your body can't cash. This is it. Because you have accomplished nothing on the football. I hate to see kids do this.
Nothing, bro. Yes. Like, You can't you don't even have the resume to talk like this. What
no,
are you doing?
No, man.
Right.
Son.
You're not even Daquan Newkirk.
Right.
Bro, like, come on, let's be for real.
But attitude reflects leadership.
Cam.
And look who his leader is. That's all I'm saying. Because you didn't immediately follow him to UCF.
Right.
You tried to go to Tennessee first.
Right.
And
now you're technically like at your third school in months. But this is what you want to put out there in the universe? Come on, man. And you know what? Aside from that, I just think he would have more respect for his former teammates.
Yeah. If nothing else, the guys who you used to put the uniform, like, again,
to not go out of your way.
You hear him talking about family and all that. It's such the reason why he loves Auburn so much and he wanted to be there for his senior year was this family environment and, riding for the brand and all that kind of stuff. Bro, the brand still exists, whether you're here or not. What are you doing? Right. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
I would like to see a little bit more humility from him. This is a guy. Think about how blessed you are for you to underachieve the way you did for 4 years, and COVID gifts you another year to get into the NFL.
Facts.
After telling you that at best you are a free agent.
If that
at best.
Right.
You're a free agent.
The best opportunity he would have had is if somebody picked him up because he wasn't going to get drafted.
He wasn't getting drafted.
3 tackles in 4 years is not getting you drafted.
He was not getting drafted. He went to Tennessee because Pruitt, who was the head coach at the time, recruited him.
Yeah.
Tried to recruit him to Alabama. So he knew who he was. Still was over there at the time. He's going to Tennessee. He lands softly at Tennessee. He's leaving Auburn. He left Auburn. No one asked him to leave.
Yeah,
that's the crazy part.
None of that.
Auburn was your home. We were still rooting for you. You left. A few fumbled Happy Meals later at Tennessee. There's a new coach coming in who doesn't know you. Now you're scrambling. And you land at a group of 5 school. And still lack humility. Still think you're that kid. Where's the humility, man? And you're going to beat Auburn with you're going to beat Auburn with a school that went 6-4 in the American Athletic Conference? You went 6-4 in your own conference. So you just going to go to the SEC and start beating people? That's how that works?
Right. Yeah.
This says a lot more about Gus to me. And sadly, it says more about Gus than it does him. Because if I'm Gus, why would I put him in front of media?
Yeah, right. Come on.
Why would I put him in front of the media? We ain't talking about a tweet. Forget about Tony Fair. Why would you put him in front of media? Could you imagine Brian Harsin putting him in front of Brian Matthews?
Yeah.
JG? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine the train wreck that would be? You don't know who to put in front of the media after coaching 9 years as a head coach. That's who you put to represent your program. We can talk about Big Kat. This is on Gus. You told him to talk to them.
Yeah, but more importantly, I think it's for us as Auburn fans, because there's a lot of talk about Big Kat. I think it just signals why a culture change was so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Like this is part of what left, and I think this is why we saw so many guys say I'm out after they saw what Brian Harsin was bringing. Yeah. Because this is not something that would have flown. I just don't believe. I mean, now this is somewhat anecdotal evidence, right? Like, I just don't believe this would fly under Harsin. I don't. I really don't. I think that he would. I think he sent a message to this team already.
Yeah.
Whether we're going to do our talking on the field. We're going to do it in the weight room. We're going to do it in practice. And then that is going to carry over to Saturdays. So for him to, again, I just felt like it was a lot of disrespect to his former teammates, to say, because the Auburn that he thinks he can beat so easily, he had a hand in creating.
Yeah.
As did his coach. I had a UCF fan trying to flex on me on Twitter, talking about 34-27, which was the score of the bowl game in 2017 when we played them. Caesar responded very eloquently. Make sure you tweet that score at your coach, since he is the one responsible for that. He's your problem now.
Right.
And so, like, it's programs do not make a coach. A coach makes a program.
Yeah.
That's the way that goes every single time. You do not go to a program and then become a good coach because you're at that program. Right? You hire a good coach and then he turns your program into a good program. So after watching 8 years of what he did at Auburn, I just don't know why you would be excited. I'm a UCF fan, about him coming to my school unless I don't expect to play anybody worth a damn. Because what we just put up with was top 10 talent finishing outside the top 25 more times than not. Now you think, he may find, he inherited what should be one of the better returning quarterbacks in all of the country in Dylan Gabriel. So there might be lots of sunshine pumping after this season. I'm still not convinced that they're going to get by Boise State to start the year, but we'll see. But there's no doubt it is absolutely 100% accurate to say the level of competition that he'll face from week to week is going to be much lower, athletically on the field, and in terms of coaching minds that he has to strategize against every week.
Yeah.
So, where we're at, where that leaves us at Auburn is that we should feel really good about the decision to move on.
Agreed.
Because this whole Big Kat debacle is a reflection of the leadership that he received. And listen, if that's not true, I'd have to believe that they grabbed him after this interview and said, "What are you doing?" I'm talking to you, Travis Williams. I'm getting on my bullhorn and I'm talking to you, Travis Williams. Right? Is that what you're pushing? Is that what y'all teaching? Now, knowing what I know about Travis, I think not. And none of us will ever know what they say to Big Kat. I'm just saying, I'm like, listen, this was a bad look. This was a bad look. You know what it reminded me of? It's like, now he had game, but I'm saying like, it was like a Baker Mayfield moment. Like, do y'all remember in the playoff game, Oklahoma versus Georgia? And they were kind of taking it to Georgia, and Baker just got a little too smug too early.
Right.
Yeah.
And we all know how that ended. They got the boot from the playoff, and Georgia, they had no quitting. None. I think they proved it in the championship game against Alabama as well, too. That team had no quit.
Right. Because
their culture is grind it out, work hard, do the little things right, and hopefully you're a champion.
Yeah.
This right here, man, if this is indicative, I mean, some people will say, oh, War Report guys, you guys are overreacting to this. It's not a big deal, especially if you're a UCF fan. But I'm telling you, we have a coach that's preaching that the little things matter.
Yeah.
I've been taught that my whole life. So this is one of those little things that matter. Auburn family, War Report family, we should be grateful for the chance to start over and get this right with the kids that stayed and for all the kids that will be coming in. I don't ever want to hear any sound bites like this coming out of our locker room ever.
And I'm grateful that while Big Kat is talking about beating an imaginary opponent that he'll never see,
Right.
we're talking about being 1-0.
Facts.
We're talking about winning the day.
It's on the wall in the locker room.
It's on the shirt.
Yeah,
it's what
1-0.
they do. They're winning their day.
Right. Listen, I'll tell you one thing. If we should so happen to play UCF this season, only one or two things happen. Either they had a really great season or we had a really crap season. So either way, he shouldn't be that. I mean, I just don't think. No. I just don't think that's something he should be touting out there. That didn't sound like he thought it sounded. But just me. Just me.
That's gonna age like an open banana. So yeah, we'll it's a great day to be an Auburn Tiger. I'm happy about the culture we have. I'm happy about the change. And since we're at the halfway point, man, I'm happy about these giveaways and how you can win. Mike G, talk to the people about it, sir.
Hashtag get your weight up if you missed it at the top of the broadcast. We're giving away a War Report mug, but this one is special. When you pour things in it, it changes colors to let you know that you are drinking greatness. Every morning when you wake up and you pour your coffee into this mug, you will be getting your weight up and your mug will let you know. We want to give this away to one lucky listener tonight. So hashtag get your weight up. Check your spelling, make sure it's spelled right so that you can get in that. How many entries do we have right now?
Let's check and see. We currently have 89 entries. Not
89
bad.
entries. Not bad at the halfway mark. Let's get to 150 tonight. We got 300 people in here. Let's get to 150 tonight. So hashtag get your weight up in the comments. Along with a mug, we're giving away tickets to the Akron game. 2 of them right next to each other. So you and somebody who you owe money can go with you to the game on the War Report. Now we're done with all our calls to action. If you are a member of our channel, regular subscriber, there's no other way for you to enter this drawing at this point other than to become an insider. So you can become an insider or a supporter. Supporters get 2 entries into the drawing. Insiders get 3 entries into the drawing to increase your chances that you could be taking home tickets to the Akron game. We're going to draw on, we're going to announce the winner on our Wednesday night War Room, August 18th. So you definitely want to do, this is one of my favorite things we do is just giving away stuff to you guys for supporting us. So we really appreciate everybody who's been watching us over the extent of 2021 and some of you even into 2020. There was like 3, but we appreciate you guys as well. We want you to be able to win this. So become an insider so that you can get access to that. You know, as I said, $5.99 a month will definitely get you there. You guys know the deal. We are partnered with the Lee County Humane Society to save all the puppies. This is a cause that's near and dear to my heart. So you can find the link to this fundraiser in our in the About page of our YouTube channel. A lot of you during these live casts have super chatted us. We appreciate the super chats. YouTube does take a cut. So if you don't mind taking the extra step, you can go over to our YouTube channel. We'd rather give that money to the Lee County Humane Society. So when you super chat us, 45% of that goes to YouTube. But if you GoFundMe us, 50% of it goes to the Lee County Humane Society. So YouTube is pretty rich. We're not trying to make them any richer. Let's help save some puppies instead. Now, if you choose to super chat us, we're thankful. Either way you guys decide to do it. And kudos to everybody who takes that extra step to go to the GoFundMe and do that. We appreciate it. So help us help them, and you'll be putting some good out into the world. Also in the About section of our YouTube channel, you'll find a link to our merch store. We've got all kind of gear in here, including the mug that we're giving away tonight. So that'll be the first of its kind to go to you guys. But the Watch the Film t-shirts, to get your weight up gear, it is all there for you guys to take home. This is another great way to support our content. Other than that, listen, Josh Pate is joining us on Monday to talk a little Auburn football. I appreciate Mr. Pate. He always has a very unique perspective on our program and what's going on in college football in general. We talked a little SEC expansion with him. You don't want to miss this. It's always a good time when Josh Pate comes to the channel. So don't miss that. Monday, regular Building Report time. Building Report is back on Monday, 11 a.m., 10 a.m. Central. You
guys are doing a great job, by the way. It's up to 123 entries already tonight. You guys are stepping up and doing. Listen, it don't cost you nothing to put a hashtag in the comments.
Nothing.
It's all right. I know some of y'all prefer to ghost watch and don't let people know that you're in here watching us. So that's what happens.
We still see y'all.
We still see you.
We still see y'all. And by the way, we didn't get a chance to mention it again, but I'll do a few little more housekeeping items, guys. You are definitely watching the Wednesday Night War Room, brought to you in partnership with auburnsports.com. Please be sure, guys, to check them out for all of your recruiting updates and news, as well as other news surrounding Auburn athletics. And if you're watching us for the first time, please be sure to smash that like button and drop a comment or a War Eagle if you're Auburn family. If you're not, that's cool. Just drop your city. Be friendly. We'll be friendly back. And so, well, I maybe not, but I'll be friendly. Definitely do that. And let's talk about it. Since I mentioned recruiting, Auburn definitely has a new commitment. He's mentioned on some sites as Kobe, but Jacoby Albert commits to Auburn University. Yeah. Now, this kid here makes it I believe this is the 9th commit of the 2022 class and the 4th 4-star, according to auburnsports.com. And I believe he is I saw it was 7th, but I believe he is the 6th commit within the past month or so. And this kid comes from Fairfield, Alabama.
Fairfield.
Yeah.
6 feet, 180 pounds. According to auburnsports.com, he's the 38th ranked receiver in the 2022 class. He is the 12th rated recruit in the state of Alabama. And though he is listed as a receiver, he is expected to play safety in Derek Mason's defense. He chooses Auburn over Michigan and Maryland and a few other offers. Had a pretty impressive year. He only played 9 games due to COVID, and he played some receiver and some safety during his junior year season in 2020. He ended up accounting for 851 all-purpose yards with 11 touchdowns. And on defense, he had a total of 29 tackles, 1 interception, and 9 pass breakups. This is our latest recruit. He talked about how, I watched this video on Auburn Sports where he can actually discuss this commitment. It seems like a pretty good kid. One of the things I want to talk about before I hand this off to the guys to discuss this latest recruit is I've been impressed with what this staff is doing, given the cards that have been dealt to them. There's a story on auburnsports.com that Brian Stoltz wrote where he talks about Caden Story's recruitment. And I believe it's his dad talks about how thorough Brian Harsin was in terms of communicating his vision and his plan for Auburn. And one of the things that he mentioned was that he's heard coaches talk about what he plans to do. Brian Harsin actually showed him, here's what we're doing. And it's almost, in my imagination, it's almost similar to what he did with Allen Green to get him the job. And so for a coach to be that thorough about what he intends to do and how this recruit fits into his vision, fits into his plans, I'm looking forward to this season even more, because if he can show progress, if he can show development, if he can show that, hey, I can scheme our impact players open and put them in space so that they can be successful. If I can improve play at the O-line, if I can improve play at the QB position, right? If the defense gets even stronger, now not only do I have a great plan and a presentation and a vision for Auburn, I got results to show. And so it makes me excited about what this season holds and the impact it can have on the 2022 class and beyond. I just want to know what you guys think about this recruitment, the fact that we're picking up steam on the recruiting trail. Ike, talk to me. What are your thoughts on this kid?
From the little that I was able to kind of get from his tape watching before we got on, he just seems like a football player. Like, I don't think that he is like just this amazing safety or this amazing wide receiver. He just seems like a kid that likes playing football. He goes out there and he plays hard. Of course, again, I caution everybody, it's a highlight film, right? So you're going to see all of the plays that he made that were really good, but he seems very instinctive. He's got some decent speed compared to what he's got going on for the other kids that he's playing with in high school. And he's a super willing tackler when he's playing on defense. He's got decent ball skills. So he's attacking the ball at the high point, specifically, and looking at the interception that I saw the highlight from. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do once he gets groomed with someone who actually can teach him the position a little bit. Him playing safety, I think, is probably the best fit. Just because, again, he's not like he's not like overly speedy, and he's not like an overly like possession ball, jump ball type of receiver, but he has good instinctive skills and, again, a willing tackler. So looking forward to seeing what he can possibly do in a defense coached by someone who's known to create monsters in the defensive backfield. So, when he develops, I think he's going to be a beast. He's still kind of slight, right? Like, he's only 180 pounds. That's not very big. Yeah. But again, safety, he doesn't have to be huge as long as he's not expected to come down and play in the box if he's going to be sideline to sideline. He's got room to get bigger. So definitely looking forward to seeing what the young man can do.
Talk to me, Mike G. What are your thoughts about this pickup? What are your thoughts about what this staff is doing, picking up steam recruiting wise?
Yeah, I like this kid. I'm with Ike on everything he just said, so I won't regurgitate it. But it does seem like this staff has been pretty selective in who they're going after, which reminds me of a certain other coach that we had a while ago that kind of picked players the same way. And when you have a system that can develop kids that you trust, you can be a little bit more selective in the players that you pick because, the chances that they are going to be the player that you expect them to be go up when you have a system to develop. So it just occurs to me that they're not going out and just recruiting because this school is recruiting this kid and recruiting based on stars. They're being kind of selective in the type of player they want, but ultimately, the jury is still out, right? Because like Ike said, a highlight tape is just that. It shows you everything they did good and not a whole lot of what they've done wrong. What I will be waiting on is this season to see what we put on the field. That will be a good indication of what we're going to do with the recruits that we are getting. Because let's be clear, they went out and they got the best defensive back in that league. What do they play in the Big 12? West Virginia? No?
Yeah,
the
right. Big 12.
Yeah, a lot of people thought was the best defender in that league, and they brought him to Auburn. You got a kid like Jonathan Kaufman. You brought him to Auburn. You return two of the top 5 tacklers and the top tackler in the country is Jacoby McClain and Owen Papo, right? You've got talent in a lot of spots at the 1 deep. So at the very least, this should be a serviceable defense. And when I say serviceable, I mean Auburn's 2019 defense they were good. They were top 10 in the country in a few very key categories. And we were just so inept on offense that it didn't matter in some of those games. So I expect to see at the very least that on the field this year. 2019 Auburn, that should be the floor with everybody that we have on defense, right? Like a really good defense that was really, honestly, in my opinion, the only defense to slow Joe Burrow down in his Heisman campaign.
Yeah.
Nobody's defense did better against LSU than ours did. And I know, it was kind of a wet, rainy game or whatever, but I don't think that dampens what those kids did to LSU's offense that year. So, and if they can go out and they can have that kind of production, then the recruiting will somewhat take care of itself. Like with this pickup, I think we jumped up to 50th on Rivals in recruiting. So we only have 9 recruits in the bag so far. A lot of the teams in the top 25 have well over like 12, 13 recruits. And so as they start to add pieces, I expect us to finish in the top 25 in recruiting at the very least, at the end of this cycle. But we'll see. I mean, ultimately, it all just comes down to what are we going to put on the field? What are we going to put on the field will give us a good indication of what they're going to do with these recruits that are coming in, because there's a lot of talent there, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Smoke, Roger, right? Like these transfer kids, Owen, Jacoby, like, holy crap, man. They've got talent. Yeah. And then conversely, on the offensive side of the ball, same thing. I mean, I think we have a talented wide receiver room. They're just inexperienced. So everybody's nervous about what they haven't seen, which is fair. Right. And I hope that everybody sleeps on them, because hopefully that's what they're thinking going into each game. And these guys can go out and just torch people. But, we return what's widely believed to be the best running back in the SEC and Tank. Our O-line is going to have those guys have to play better. It's the bottom line. They just have to play better. Now, I don't think they were as bad as some people thought they were in 2020, but they have to play much better. Because you're going to have to go out and recruit O-line. And these kids that you're asking to come in need to see that you know what you're doing with O-linemen. So every recruit that we get makes me a little bit more encouraged about this staff's ability to recruit and evaluate talent. But I'm cautiously optimistic until I see something in the fall. And that's what it always comes back to me. So anytime you guys ask me about a recruit, I'm going to be like, yeah, great. I saw his highlight tape. Looks good. But that doesn't amount to a hill of beans sometimes, unless we're talking about like a consensus top 10.
Yeah, because Big Kat had a really great highlight tape.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, let's be real. All right, what does it amount to? He had a great highlight tape. It amounted to, not even 10 tackles a year in 4 years. So highlight tapes can be deceiving. What we see on those tapes, though, like, again, the small things is what I hope this coaching staff is looking at. So when they evaluated this kid, that they look at technique and, forget how things turned out. Is he doing the little things well? How much of a project is he? Yeah, attitude, heart, hustle, all these other things that are harder to teach, I think is what I hope they're looking at. So I told you guys, attitude reflects leadership. So like once these kids get on campus and we start seeing how they're doing, they're giving out these, they're pretty close to participation trophies to me, but I get it. Like these Iron Men of the Week things, we're going to see how much these things actually mean when the season comes.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to be looking at everybody who won an Iron Man of the Week and see if they're playing come Saturday. And when they do play, how are they playing? So were you just gassing us, or are all these kids actually overperforming in practice and in the weight room? We'll see. That's where I'm at about it.
We shall see indeed.
Do you think you mentioned expectations of and it is way too early to tell. I mean, we're just in the month of August, but if Auburn actually finishes outside of the top 25, are you disappointed, Mike?
In recruiting?
In recruiting.
Yeah, a little, because I just feel like, landing anywhere from 25 to 20 shouldn't be that hard. But if we do, it'll mean that we didn't get at least one great get.
Okay.
I hope they can. I hope that this staff can convince at least one top 50 kid catapults this class forward like 15, 20 spots. Right. So like if they can get a top 50 kid to commit, it would be huge. If we can't do that, man, that would mean that we probably didn't put a product on the field that people want to sign up for. I'm afraid of what that'll mean in terms of what we saw in the fall. If we can't get into the back half of the top 25, right? Like, we cannot make other schools' recruiting pitches against us easier.
Right.
with the product that we put on the field. Because you already have to recruit against a lot of them that can sell accomplishments that they currently hold in draft picks and, you know, championships and titles and just recognition, and they're all around. We don't really have that right now. Come to Auburn, win championships isn't a recruiting line you can really sell right now.
Yeah.
Right? You can say that we expect to win championships, but realistically, there are other schools in our conference doing that at a higher rate than we are. So you've got to be able to sell what you did on the field, what you put on the field. And it doesn't mean a 10-win season either. It just means a competitive team that's on the brink. So, you know, if we can't sneak into the top 25 of recruiting, I'm afraid that might mean that we finished 6-6. You know, 7-5. I've accepted that as a possible outcome, but like, you know, that would still be pretty disappointing. 8-4, okay, right? We can firmly say we're probably headed the right direction. Anything over 8 wins to me this year is a bonus, right? But if they can pull those things off, you know, that means that we beat somebody that we were definitely supposed to lose to. At 9-3, we beat somebody that somebody thought we would lose to,
right?
You know, and you can sell that to kids. Look what I did in year one. So, you know,
I mean, if you finish 8-4, you've beaten somebody you weren't supposed to beat.
Yeah,
so
I believe that.
I don't think we're favored against Penn State on the road. So
we got 6 top 25 teams on our schedule.
Yeah,
let's say Penn State is at least ranked higher than us right
now.
By
in top 25
right
now.
Now, so.
That's what I'm saying. So even if you go 8-4, you've beaten somebody that pundits have expected you not to beat. So
right.
Yeah,
it's going to have a marked effect on recruiting. What we put on the field is going to have an effect on recruiting. And again, W's is not the only goal here, right? For Brian Harsin in year one.
Sure.
You know,
sure.
They're nice, but you know, we just got to be realistic.
Again, I mean, I'm used to, I guess I'm reminded of that night. You and I were the national championship game in the Rose Bowl, bucket list type of situation for me. And I remember even though I was disappointed in the outcome, I remember walking back to the car thinking, man, if this was year one, man, what is the rest of this 10 years going to be like?
Right.
And it was fool's gold. And what it trained me is I want to see what this program looks in year 3, in year 4. Are we going backwards? Even if we go 9-3, are we going backwards as some of these older guys move on? And now you got your kids in here. What is the DNA of this program? What does it look like?
Right.
And so, yeah, I want Auburn to win. I'm going to be rooting for us to win, but I want to see, and we talked about it in the beginning of this show, like, what is the attitude of these kids like? You know, what are they showing up? Are they working hard? Like, what's the attitude of these kids? And to me, I think knowing that we're going in the right way just depends on, even when we lose, we can learn a lot. You know what I mean? We can learn a whole lot in terms of how we lose. Like when we lost to LSU on the road in Malzahn's first year, I came away from that game encouraged, right? Because Auburn figured some stuff out about themselves and about their opponent. They looked like a different team coming out of halftime.
Yeah.
I want to see how we look against the Georgias and Alabamas. I want to see how we look when we lose. Did we make our rivals work for it, or did they just were we playing their second team in the third and fourth quarter, right? So I just want to see those are things to me that can't be necessarily measured in wins and losses. I just want to know that it is new. Things have changed at Auburn. For me, that makes me happy because I've been faked out before. So forgive me if I'm a little hesitant to put a record in terms of determining Auburn's success this year. Ike, I do have a question for you. How do you feel about and congrats to Nino Brown. He just got a new addition to his family. Congrats to you, sir. You watching from the hospital. I don't even know how you doing that, but he made a mention of he made a mention of us getting local kids out the state of Alabama. And we talked about the importance of getting kids from Alabama, good kids that we know can contribute. Talk to us, sir. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this last time when we were talking about the Caden story. I think it's super important to establish yourself as a recruiting presence in the state of Alabama. There's no way that you can begin to swing the momentum in your direction if you're constantly losing your own backyard. Like, why would I want to come play at Auburn when you can't produce some of the best, like in your own backyard, you can't recognize talent? Then what's making me think that you're going to be able to get it from across the country? Right. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to be a real thing on a consistent basis. It's too easy to look down the street and find talent when the talent's there. And if you're consistently missing on the talent that's right down the street, then there's no reason why a recruiting trip to Seattle is going to make a big difference. All right. So you have to be able to do that on a consistent basis. And I think it's important to signal to players here in the state that we're watching, right? We want to see you guys come up here and compete. And we have the opportunity for you to compete at a high level. So it's a good thing to start seeing those recruiting battles start to win or swing in our favor, specifically for the better players, right? Like we can get the 2 and 3 stars from the state. But we need the 4 and 5 ones that are here, right, in Alabama to be here consistently and getting the right ones, right? So it's not just the star rating. It's about the ones that fit the best with the culture and with your ability to utilize them and see them make a difference for your team. So that part's yet to be seen. We have seen a couple of recruits come, but it's yet to be seen whether or not we're getting the right ones. So hopefully that's in place.
To be determined. Any thoughts, Mike G?
No, man, he said it perfectly. Are we getting the right ones? Right. This system. How are these kids going to fit into what he's trying to do? And I would even counter that. Like we have a lot of kids that were built for a much different system, and what they had to do this offseason was they had to remold a lot of those kids in the weight room to fit what Harsin is trying to do. We're going to see how successful they were at that in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're going to be asked to do some very different things physically on the football field because the system is going to require some different things of them. And what we see is the gap between what they need them to be and where they got them to is compensated for by scheme. Right. So if they didn't get all the way where you needed them to, I expect that we will come up with a scheme, particularly offensively, that will cover up some of our sins and of the past.
Right.
Right. Like, so we got red in our ledger.
All right, Black Widow.
Yeah. And so we need to make up for some of that with scheme.
Indeed. Well, to be determined in terms of how these commits fare out, but what we're about to determine is who's going to win this mug.
Yes,
and it's time to draw. So how many people we got now? Ike? Talk to us, man.
We
almost at 150. Come on.
We get 7 more people to jump in this thing.
Yeah,
appreciate you, Vernon. Appreciate you, man.
Salute,
my
bro.
man.
Appreciate that.
Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Go check Vernon out for some reactionary type content. Vernon is quick on the trigger, so we appreciate him. 144.
Come on.
145.
Come on.
More. Can we get 5 more people
to just jump in here, man?
Come on.
Daniel, you're right. Never too many Marvel references. I love it. If you guys aren't watching these Marvel shows that are coming out on Disney Plus, I don't know what you're doing. It's amazing.
Thomas, I think you meant to say, didn't we say that stars don't matter? Go just rewind what I said again, and you'll hear me not say anything about stars matter. So I'm not going to even. So 149.
149. One more person to jump in here. Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is in here. and he's an
One
insider.
more kick. We can do it. We can do it.
Hey, shout out to my man.
There we go.
We're there. All right, let's hit this button and make it happen. If you are behind and we push this button, I apologize. We'll wait for you for a little bit, but we are on our way. 150. It's still going up. I'm waiting another second. Gosh.
Yeah, shout out to my guy Eli. Eli is that's not Eli. That's Eli. Eli is a prolific TikToker.
Hey, TikTok, yeah.
He is a prolific TikToker. I'm talking about this man is TikTok famous. Go check out his TikTok. He's a funny dude. We like Eli.
Matt K in advance saying he's here. A lot of people in advance. I'm here. All right, so y'all already know the drill. All right, let's get to
y'all out here manifesting this win.
We stalled at 154. I'm hitting the button. We are off to the races. Who is the winner this time? I see a lot of familiar faces popping up. Oh man, Corey.
Ground floor. My man, Ground Floor. Are you here?
Congratulations, sir.
Yes.
We'll wait because with new rules, we're waiting now. We're not going to draw immediately. So we're going to be checking for you. We're going to be checking for you.
Clifford Radney Jr., thank you, sir. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
Right now, we'll give you an opportunity, Ground Floor, to hop back in here and holler at us. If not, we will draw.
Yep, he's here. There he goes. There he goes. You know what to do. Email business at the War Rapport to claim your new mug. All right. Congratulations to you, sir. Congratulations.
You will be the first person to win one of those from this here raffle. So congrats to you. Congrats. All right.
Well, guys, Auburn reports today, right? They got some meetings tomorrow and they actually hit the field on Friday, man. We finally made it to fall camp.
Yeah.
After what felt like 3 years of an off season, it's finally here, guys. Any thoughts and feelings, man, going into fall camp? How y'all feeling, man? Talk to me.
You know what? I'm just ready to some of these folks that we didn't get an opportunity to see in spring. I'm ready to see how they're going to perform. My biggest thing really is, has the chemistry between quarterback and wide receiver gotten better, right? Like, have we had an opportunity to develop that? And can we get through the fall without any significant injuries? Like, if we can do those things, I will be happy, because I feel as if we have a good chance with good chemistry between the quarterback and wide receivers and a healthy team to make some noise this year. Outside of that, man, again, there's new faces that I'm anxious to see what they're going to do. We haven't had a chance to see the battle that's going to be brewing in the defensive backfield. We haven't had a chance to see, the battle, which we assume is really a battle for the number 2 quarterback spot going into game 1, because Bo Nix is the presumed starter for game 1. We haven't had an opportunity to see who are the 5 they're going to trot out there for the offensive line. We haven't had a chance to see who's going to emerge as the main pass catching target. We haven't had it. Like, there's just so many we don't knows out here, right? And so we're looking forward to seeing how people are going to perform, who's going to emerge healthy outside of the going into the fall, into game 1. And just who are going to be the main playmakers that are stepping up consistently in practice, because that's going to give you an indication, because I feel like this defense is going to be good. It's going to be an indication of who's going to be available to step up during the season. So looking forward to seeing all of those battles manifest.
Talk to me, Mike G, man. What are you looking forward to? And again, guys, we're going to talk about position groups on the weekend tailgate on our Sunday live show. So we'll definitely be going in depth about some of these battles and position groups. Stay tuned for that. But Mike G, just as we're on the brink of fall camp, man, what are you looking forward to hearing about? What's the storyline that you're keeping close eye on? Talk to me, brother.
You know what? I think my eyes are going to be on this wide receiver room. We went and we picked up this former number 1 overall receiver out of Georgia, and I'm really high on the guys that we have. So I can't say I'm super excited about him, because, I'm Xavion Capers, Malcolm Johnson Jr., these guys that we have here, I'm high on them. I think those are 1 and 2 type receivers that just haven't had a chance to show it on the field. This kid coming from Georgia, he had a chance to show it on the field. So I hope he does well if they play him. But other than that, I'm still riding with the guys who we had in the tank before his arrival. And they need to do something with this talent. They need to get these guys to a good place where they're we start developing wide receivers and start putting out wide receivers regularly.
Yeah.
We just need to stop wasting talent at that position. So I was doing something interesting this week, and I was cutting up film. So I'm sitting in front of my computer right here, and I'm cutting up film, and I text the fellas, and I was just like, guys, I'm cutting this film, and if I don't use players from last year, there's almost nothing to cut. Right? Like our offensive scheme last year was really unimaginative, and there was just a ton of things. I mean, 3 guys. Now I know our top 3 receivers left, but man, there was nothing beyond that. Nothing. And there was no need for that.
Yeah.
We could have used more guys on offense last year.
Yeah.
So that puts us in a position where we return only 15% of our receiving yards from the prior year. That's the lowest total in well over a decade.
Yep.
And now everybody's down on this wide receiver room just because we haven't seen it. But that's not their fault.
Right.
Yeah, because if you actually look at targets, then it's not. I mean, like, when did they get opportunities?
Not a lot. Not a lot.
Yeah, there weren't any opportunities there, right? So between Xavion and Malcolm and JJ and Kobe Hudson, I'm not sleeping on him either, right? Like, I just think we have a lot of talent there, and depending on what happens at quarterback, these guys may have to help us some. I'm looking for them to step up, right? They're going to have to help whoever plays quarterback at whatever point of the season, some do their part. Now, when you don't have any experience and you're trying to earn a starting spot, you have to take advantage of every opportunity you get. You can't go out there and waste any drops. Drops, I do not think will be tolerated.
Right.
So we're deep enough in the wide receiver room where if you're dropping the ball, you just go sit down somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at with these guys. Like, they need to catch them.
I don't see a lot of multiple wide receiver sets in this offense since we're going to be featuring a tight end. So if you get out there, you better shine.
Right. Remember what Courtney Taylor told us? He said they knew they were going to be blocking. Yeah. And he said, I had to catch everything that came my way, because those opportunities were limited. And then he left here as the all-time leader in receptions and an offense that didn't throw the ball very much.
Yeah.
Because he literally, I mean, listen, he had a ball magnet on his hands. He just caught everything he threw at him. He arguably made the biggest catch of that 2004 season. So that's what I feel like this offense is going to mirror that a little more in year one, as they try to manage the quarterback position and not put too much on that. But it is going to increase the pressure with reduced opportunities to make sure that you catch everything. Because I don't think we're going to go out there and throw the ball 40 times a game.
Right.
And if we are, it's because we are playing catch up because we're down big and there's no other chance. I don't think Brian Harsin wants to play that way either.
I mean, Bobo traditionally has not called games in a way where it's going to be pass heavy. So I don't anticipate that being part of the game plan. And I just don't think it hasn't worked the first 2 years under Bo Nix as quarterback. Why would we run it back a third time where we're going to be pass heavy? I just don't see it make sense.
Right. So I'm going to be, my eyes are on the receiver room. They're unproven, but I think that they still have there's a world of potential there that everybody's going to be sleeping on. And when people are sleeping, you can catch them lacking, and just take advantage of them in these first few games. I mean, we start out with Kareem Puffs, man.
Yeah.
Whether I'll be interested to see what the game plan is, whether they just play ball control and try to run it down Akron's throat, or whether we actually try to move the ball through the air and execute some version of this offense that we're going to see in other games.
Yeah.
You know,
I would like to see a balanced offense, man, where we're keeping defenses honest and we're working on that. You know, when teams try to take something away, we have a much of a balanced offense to where we can take what the defense gives us. We can throw the ball. We can't hopefully and to your point, Mike G, I'm eager to see how well can we push the ball down the field if need be. You know what I mean? How are we doing in those 20 plus throws? How are we doing in those intermediate throws to make the defense think, all right, I can't stack the box, right? We're gonna have to play this offense honest. This is a new Auburn team, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing that. We got the old man watching with us, man. I haven't seen you in a minute. It's good to have you on.
Man, my guy. Where you been?
Good to see you.
He's mentioning the tight ends. That's another position group to keep a close eye on.
There's going to be a lot of intriguing because despite what people want to imagine about Auburn, we still have a lot of talent on our roster.
Absolutely.
If you, for the first time in a while, I feel like talent is what's going to hit the field, not preference.
Yeah.
So
thanks.
If the most talented player at each position is going to be on the field, then we have a good opportunity to win consistently. Because, again, what I've been sold from day one is discipline and accountability and focus. So if you have talented players that are able to do those things, stay disciplined, be accountable, and be focused, you're going to get W's. Yeah. Because the talent should allow you to be able to do those things at a high level. But if you're missing the focus, you're missing that grit, that accountability, that ability to go into the game and know what your assignment is, doesn't matter how talented you are, because you can be out-schemed, right? You can't out-scheme guys who are both talented and focused. It's very difficult to do because you're going to be where you're supposed to be on a play.
Indeed. Yeah. Before you jump in, Mike, shout out Dr. Doom.
Hey.
Hashtag Bo Nix for Heisman. Listen, I want to see it.
If Bo Nix has a Heisman worthy season, we're winning the national championship this year. I will say that.
That's why I want to see it. That's why I want to see it. I'm here. There's
no way you can convince me Bo Nix plays well enough for him to be in contention for the Heisman, and the talent we have on this team does not equate to a playoff berth. You can't convince me those two things live in the same reality. So it's not possible, in my opinion.
Yeah, you guys got to check out the interview we did with Josh Pate, and he talked about. We asked him his thoughts on the QB race, and he made some reference to confidence in this coaching staff's ability to put guys in position to where it's going to be difficult for them to fail. Like if they fail, then it's obvious they shouldn't be out there, right? So the key for Bo is just basically do the little things that Bobo and Harsin is asking you to do. And I don't think they're going to ask him to be all world. I don't think they're asking him to be a Spencer Rattler. I don't think they're asking him to be that guy. They're just asking him to do what they need him to do to put Auburn in a position to win. You already got Tank behind you. You already got some guys around you, so you don't have to be all world. Just do your job.
Can he handle that though? Right? I think that's going to be it's going to tell me a lot about whether he's taking coaching or not.
Yeah.
We had that question last season about a lot of the things that Bo could improve. And we asked Chris Todd, because he seemed to think that, hey, a lot of Bo's issues are super fixable. And we said, okay, so if they're super fixable, why aren't they fixing it? And the crickets after that.
Right.
So now we know without a doubt that they're addressing a lot of the things that Todd addressed when we interviewed him. Feet, timing, all that stuff. And if he's can he stay within himself?
Mhm.
Because if he can't, I think what's going to happen is he's going to find the bench. I don't think that these coaches are going to accept a quarterback who's not going out there and doing the things that they're asking him to do. And the muscle memory that he has doing what he has been doing literally his entire football career, it had to stop this offseason. It had to stop. So I am rooting for him because he's going to start the season. And it's hard to move forward when you don't know who your quarterback is. Listen, Bo starts the season but doesn't end the season. That's a setback for us. We're in for a really long season, I think, personally.
It depends on how early in the season it happens and what happens with the backup position. But I'll say this. I'm super encouraged from what I've seen thus far. And again, you got to be wary of videos that come out because they're not like showing you every throw he's making. But from between what he did in the spring game, which there wasn't a ton of time to fix stuff, but Bo's off-platform throws in the spring game were few and far between, right? He really only had one that I think was a very questionable throw, and that was the deep ball to Malcolm Johnson Jr.
Yeah.
Right. Outside of that, the rest of the throws that he had, they were off platform, but he was rolling, or it was like a design situation. Everything else, he was balanced and he was putting it where it needed to be. The one completion to Canyon was probably that I don't know if that was a miscommunication on the way the route was supposed to be run or if that was a missed throw on Bo's part. But two throws where, okay, you probably shouldn't have thrown those two. Outside of that, maybe there was the levels route that he was rolling to his right. He probably underthrew that one a bit, but still, I would take that. If that was his output from a real game, I would absolutely take that because I feel like that means the remainder of that game we have done enough, and the offense is balanced. Right? He didn't have 20 throws in the first half, and they looked at. He only had 15 throws, and that was through three quarters. Right, that's what I want to see from Bo Nix on offense. And again, the throws looked good. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to be able to produce. The first two games specifically, what's going to happen off of that play action and how we're able to control the line of scrimmage with the offensive line. Because that's, to me, that's the key to it. If we can control with the offensive line with the run game, we're going to have a productive offense because he's going to be throwing to guys that are wide open.
Okay, so I think based on what we said about the run game and what we just said about the receivers maybe having limited chances because of how we're going to play offense, the limited opportunities that the receivers are going to have are also limited opportunities for the quarterback.
For sure.
Right. So I think a lot of it's going to be dump downs and screens, though. Like, I think a lot of what we're going to see early on is them run, screen, quick pass. Like, it's just going to be a lot of that. Yeah, I'm on record as saying that I think the real test of this Bobo offense is they're going to have to find a way to stretch the ball vertically. Period. You can't push the ball down the field. Dumps and screens aren't going to work.
I think there's going to be a lot of long passes early. I think they're going to be super conservative, and they're going to try to dominate in the trenches to get we're going to keep our base offense. We're going to take shots if they're there, but it's not going to be a concerted portion of that early. First two games, I'd be surprised if he has more than 3 throws that are over 30 yards.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll be.
Sounds like a facts or not question.
Yeah, that does. That does sound like a facts or not question. I mean, hold on, wait. First 3 games or 2
First
games?
2 games.
First 2 games, no more than 3 throws longer than 30 yards.
I'd be surprised if I saw it.
Interesting. Right. Because you don't think they're going to let him throw it.
Right. Not completions that equate to 30 yards. I mean, I don't think that it's going to be a part of the game plan for him to air it
from
out.
the throw downfield.
Yeah, I just think it's gonna be a lot of quick stuff. And again, the completions, he may hit somebody and they catch it for like 10 yards and then turn up and get more than that. Mm-hmm. But balls that travel in the air beyond 30 yards, I don't think that he'll have.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, just because I think the majority of the game plan is going to be condensed and the opportunities to go deep are going to be few and far between because of what they're going to be trying to scheme.
So
it's
if
going to be a lot.
So if we do see that, is it because they schemed it or because he went rogue and just started taking shots?
If it's early in the game, I think that it's going to be intentional. If it gets later in the game and they're just throwing it out there, then I don't know what to call for that. Like the first, they might take a shot early, right? Like just to loosen somebody up. But I just don't anticipate it. I think it's going to be a lot of quick passes to the outside, screen game, 10, 15 yard. I think the intermediate pass game is going to be a big portion of what we're going to be doing. Short and intermediate passes.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking 30 yards. When I'm thinking down the field, I'm thinking anything beyond 15 yards, right? Yeah. Like they're going to have to stretch the ball. They're going to have to stretch the field vertically to keep defenses honest, and they're going to have to hit those passes at a reasonably high clip for teams to respect it. Otherwise, they crowd the line, and everything's got to be perfect. If you can't take shots. And when I say take shots, I don't mean bombs like Schwartz type bombs. I'm just saying, hey, listen, a guy is on a route up the middle of the field, 15 yards, put the ball on the money, hit it, and loosen up those linebackers a little bit and slow them down so they're not pinning back their ears and coming after you. His completion percentage either way has to go up significantly.
For sure.
Yeah, because you cannot take less shots and then complete the same low percentage that he has been completing. That's just not going to work because that means even less opportunities for receivers to develop, right? Because their targets are going to go way down. And then if you are not on target, just knock those out of the box for the receiver. I will feel really bad for this receiving core. They deserve a quarterback who can get them the ball and let them showcase their talents.
For sure.
Right. Agreed. We've had that maybe 2 years out of 8. So
listen, Lawrence says if Bo balls out, I got to eat Bo-Berry biscuits at the tailgate.
I'll buy some Bojangles. I don't have a Bojangles around here, but I'll find a way to make it happen.
Listen, I don't have a problem with. I would take that. Let me get the biscuits.
I'll be happy to eat it. Yeah. I'll be happy to eat it because it means that we're headed the right direction. So
listen, I want the kid to ball out.
Yeah, there was a guy in our comment section today that went back and watched some live from like 2 months ago to say you guys hate Bo, right? And it was a segment about TJ Finley. So I don't want to mix words here. Nobody on this show is against Bo Nix. All right. Everybody is for the best player. Now we have our questions about who that is because we've been trying to trust the evaluation ability of the last staff. And we found out that I think we all agree that we could not trust their ability to be able to evaluate talent, but that extends to every position offensively. Right. So, he's not immune from that. And he's the quarterback. So, of course, we're going to talk about it more than we do any other position. I don't think you can argue beside offensive line what other position affects the flow of the game more than quarterback.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to get talked about. So, we haven't talked a ton about Bo lately, but
shout out Preston Holmes. He says Bojangles is in Union Station.
Oh, I'm going then. That's fact. I will go down to Union Station. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 metro stops from me. Buy some Bojangles, come back. Make it happen, right? I'll do it. I will do that. Thank you for that.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I'll eat some Bojangles. I mean, I think I made a bet about something. I got to go back and find it about wearing a Bo Nix jersey. Do you guys remember what the conditions were?
Oh, trust me, we'll find it.
Yeah,
we'll find it.
What the conditions was. Yeah, we did actually have somebody pose that as a challenge.
Yeah. I accept it. Like, listen,
I should have wrote that down, man.
Yeah. Listen, if you see me with a Bo Nix jersey on, Bo Nix is having a Heisman campaign. So, yeah, I'm all for it. And if he's having a Heisman campaign, Auburn wins. I'm always for Auburn winning. So, this young man has a challenge in front of him this year, right? So, he's got some, I know this, the competitive part of him wants to prove a lot of the doubters wrong. Everybody who doubted him, he wants to prove wrong. I think that changing coaches gave him a better chance to do that.
Yeah.
I really do. I think if there was any chance that he was going to prove everyone wrong, we needed to make a change at head coach. So now that change has been made, the excuses are going to run dry.
Yeah.
And despite what everybody thinks, I still am in the camp that does not think that they brought TJ Finley in strictly for depth. He is a contingency plan. In the case that the guy who they hope broke all his bad habits in one offseason does not. Because this staff wants to win now. They want to win now. So Bowen's husband has to wear a sleeveless Milo's t-shirt for a month.
I'll send it to him.
Okay.
I'll send it to him, Corey.
Milo's. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I will. I will from December to January.
Guys, did y'all hear about this? Appreciate your Auburn dad. What are thoughts about T. Reid being hired? I believe he's hired. I think it's for like player development or something like that.
Yeah.
A role he gave him. What are your thoughts about that, guys? Any thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm neutral on it. Yeah, I mean, I like that he's making relationships with former players.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing there.
Yeah.
He's an Auburn guy, through and through. Through and through, excuse me. And I think it's good to have him in the building to give some of that energy that you kind of miss when you have a T. Will that's not there anymore. Zach Etheridge is bringing a little bit of that energy. It's good to have those types of guys that can talk and speak about kind of what it is to be an Auburn man to the players that are coming in to kind of solidify that culture and help again with your in-state recruiting from that standpoint. So I'm happy for him because again, he's been a fierce advocate for Auburn over the years. So good for him.
Well said. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Before we get out of here, Mike G, give us some announcements, sir.
Hey, man, listen, become an insider. We had a lot of you sign up tonight, so it's not too late to sign up before this broadcast is over. Insiders are going to have a lot. If you have been following us, you know our game day experience is going to be primarily insider only. So we're going to have a lot of things for you guys, pregame, halftime, postgame, regular weekend tailgate, but we're coming at you Monday nights with our Monday film review, which you definitely do not want to miss. We got For the Record, we got Betting with B. Will. There's going to be tons of stuff. So now, in addition, as a thank you, hey, listen, we're giving away 2 tickets to the Akron game. Now, we're done with all our calls to action, but you can enter this drawing by becoming an insider. So $5.99 is a lot of value potentially for 2 tickets to a game, and this won't be the only way we give away tickets. So just sign up. Supporters get 2 entries into the drawing. Insiders get 3 entries into the drawing, and we will announce the winner of that first drawing on our Wednesday night War Room, August 18th. So watch that. Now, this isn't going to be one of those things where if you're not there, you can't win. We're going to make some effort to reach out to the winner and see if we can get that person to respond. So help us with that, and then go to the About section of our YouTube channel and sign up for our mailing list. Please sign up for our mailing list, our email list, so that we can have your email and have an additional way to contact you guys. Some of you guys use your actual names for your YouTube handles, and some of you go by some names that there's no way we could ever find you except for if you came on the live. So if you go and you get on that mailing list, that'll help us contact you about other things. We promise not to spam you with random stuff, only things that are pertinent. So please go do that. Other than that, we're partnered with the Lee County Humane Society. Every dollar that you guys donate, half 50 cents on it gets donated to the Lee County Humane Society. We're going to start setting some monthly goals here to fundraise for them. This is something that is near and dear to my heart, especially. But we care about this deeply as an organization, that we want to put some good back into the world. Saving animals is good that we've chosen. So YouTube About section, click that donate link, and every 50 cents on every dollar you give goes to the Lee County Humane Society. We chose that number because when you guys super chat us, 45% goes to YouTube. So in lieu of that, if you go to the GoFundMe, you can help us out, but you can also do some good in the world for a charitable organization, which is what we want desperately. Other than that, listen, This Wednesday Night War Room is brought to you by auburnsports.com. That's our guy, JG Tate, Brian Matthews, Christian Clemente. Those guys over there do a really, really great job bringing us recruiting news. We had JG on the show. We're going to have Brian and Christian back at some point to continue to keep us updated on recruiting. So we're super happy to have partnered with them on our journey to becoming the #1 fan forum on YouTube and in the world for Auburn fans to talk about football and come together. So we're really trying to form a community here, guys. I really appreciate everybody who has contributed to that community, whether it's likes, subscriptions, insider memberships, or just comments on a video. We appreciate it all, guys. Very happy at the community we've been able to form.
Guys, thanks again for hanging out with us so much throughout this off season. Y'all have condensed this off season exponentially. We couldn't have done it without you guys. And thanks for being a part of the community. Please be sure in our efforts to expand this community, share this video, guys, if you're on social media, whether you're on Twitter or Facebook. Let people know that we are out here. Use the hashtag #GetYourWeight And if you haven't already, what are you doing? Please like and subscribe. Like this video and subscribe to us on YouTube. Please find us out on Twitter and Instagram. We are at The War Rapport. We are TW Rapport on TikTok. That is it for now, but we will definitely see you soon, guys. Until then, and as always, War Eagle.
There you go.